Are you an expert looking for ways to build your business? Do you have an important message that you know is going to impact the lives of others? Do you want to learn from some of the leading experts in a variety of industries on how to position your message, grow your business, and increase your revenues? Then you're in the right place with Power Up for Profits. Hey everybody, it's Kathleen Gage with Power Up for Profits, and today I am beyond excited. I've got my good buddy Pat Mussieux, and Pat and I go back, I got it right this time. I've had every pronunciation of your name. It's been unbelievable, and you keep saying, no, it's like this, okay? I miss you. And,
that's right.
There it is, miss you, and I do miss you. And today, Pat and I actually, we go back how many years? About 10 years? 10 years?
8 anyway, yeah.
Yeah, and we actually have been in the same mastermind together. We've collaborated on projects together. We really got on track with our health journey together. And as we were talking about just before we started, we both have the same end goal, which is to educate as many people as possible about health and fitness as it ties into their business and just their overall lifestyle. And so today, Pat and I are going to have a conversation about business, about health, about whatever comes up. So Pat, great to have you here.
I'm thrilled. I love talking to you anytime, anywhere, on any topic, but to be able to come together with you, and thank you for the invitation, to share our common mission, our common vision, our common passion, because we care about people. I'm thrilled. Let's do it.
Let's do it. And we've had conversations all over the country. It's just been crazy where we've been locked up in hotel rooms, just, planning strategies. And it's really amazing because when we first met, I actually at that time was at a pretty low weight. Then I ballooned up, gained a bunch of weight. I went through yo-yoing, and we've got some pictures of you that are pretty amazing. But let's start with you talking about your business, how long you've been in business, and some of the evolution and transformation your business has gone through.
Yeah, love to do that. What I've recognized in the last few months, actually, Kathleen, is that I've realized in reflection that every decade I've just shaken it up, whether it's my life or my business or both at the same time. So 2020, here I come, buckle up. My business as it is now, professional speaking and business and lifestyle coaching, has been in existence for 10 years now. And so, yes, I'm in a state of evolution as well. But for 10 years, and I've been a professional speaker for over 25 years. You and I go way back in that arena, to those days. So, however, as a independent professional speaker, I would say 10 years, and the coaching goes along with that. So when I'm not on the road, I'm hooked up to Zoom and telephone in whatever way the clients want to talk. And I work with high achieving entrepreneurs who have a sense of where they want to go. They just don't know what they don't know. And so I was able to grow my business fairly quickly when all those mastermind meetings you and I were in. Yep. And so a lot of women entrepreneurs in particular have been drawn to me thinking, oh my gosh, you're an example of the fact it's never too late, I'm not too old. If you can do it, I can do it, as I left my marriage and transformed my life and my business. So that's what I'm about. That's what I'm up to.
Well, let's get a point of reference so people, because we're going to be talking about age and everything. How old are you?
68.
Okay, 68, and I'm going to be 66 in a couple of months. And, so we're not
69 in a couple of months.
Well, okay. You'll always be a few years ahead of me.
I'll always be a few years.
Okay. But, and it's interesting because a lot of times people use age as an excuse. They use money as an excuse. They use location, whatever it may be, to go after their dreams. And I've watched you grow your business from the ground up to, from one that was really with not a lot of direction, and you got so clear on what you wanted to accomplish, and you grew your business faster than most people could even imagine. So let's talk a little bit about the excuses that people make for why they can't accomplish what they want to accomplish, whatever it may be.
Yeah, we can make the list, right? So I really dare people these days to look me in the eye and say, well, I'm too old. Yeah, really? Yeah. you 40-something person, or, oh, I just turned 50 and, it's over. Oh my gosh, I'm planning my 75th birthday. Give me a break. So the excuses have been all over the map, from it's too hard, it takes too much time, my husband won't support me, my partner won't support me, my kids don't support me, I don't live in the right part of the country, I don't have all the tools available to me, I have no money, I don't have enough money. Just, I could go on and on and on.
Right.
I really believe that excuses are the default for most people, as opposed to a strong, developed, critical thinking mindset of, this is what I want, help me get there.
And with the default you mentioned,
Yeah.
I tend to believe that people are so accustomed to saying, using whatever excuse, that they don't even think it through. They just say, oh, I can't because of X, Y, and Z. And how do you work with people to help them overcome the excuses? Because, and let me frame that, because I know money oftentimes for people is the big excuse. And you and I have been coached by one of the best in the world. I mean, this woman was phenomenal at what she does. And we paid a lot of money to be coached by this woman. And it wasn't a matter of, oh, I can't afford it. It's like, how will I afford it? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
So how do you work with people when they come up with these excuses? On the one hand, but on the other hand, they're saying, oh, I would do anything to have this thing, whatever this thing is. So do you like what you see? If you do, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and leave your comments down below. What did you most like about this video? By subscribing, you get updates of future videos that I put out. And by liking, what happens is it helps for this video and all other videos to go out over YouTube land. And so I really need you to subscribe to this channel, like the video, and leave your comments below. Now, back to the video.
Well, the first step is a conversation with me when people approach me. And I can tell within 5 to 7 minutes whether or not they are of the default mindset and they're just going to go there and they're stuck there, in which case I'm not interested. I'll refer them on to somebody else. My preference is people who come to me and say, all right, I've watched you do this, accomplish this, go here, go there. I want some of that. I don't know what I don't know. And so I do believe that you're the coach for me, in which case then the conversation will continue and I'll present options. So bottom line, Kathleen, I'm not interested in the excuse makers anymore. That's the majority of the population. Majority are not prepared to do the work anyway. Majority have not even thought through the conversation, and they're just not aware of what's coming out of their mouth automatically, because I can't afford it. For women, I find mostly. Men find something they want to do, go after, and it's like, all right, here's the money.
Right.
Women are the ones. And it comes from all different root causes, if you will. However, it's a bad habit. That's what it is. It's a bad habit. It's a poor way of thinking. So I'm not interested in that anymore. I've done my time with that level of entrepreneur, and they're not going to do anything. They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to accomplish anything. And God bless them if that's where they want to stay.
Right.
I'm not interested. I want the other group, the ones who have a sense of, and they're prepared to do what it takes.
Well, who was it that said you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with? Was it Jim Rohn?
That originally came from Jim Rohn, and you earn the average of the 5 people, and which is why you and I made that commitment to high-level coaching.
Right.
And in fact, not just the business coach, but I also simultaneously invested heavily in a professional speaking coach, because those are the 2 revenue tracks that I have. And so he too would not take on anyone who was even sniffed excuses.
Absolutely.
Didn't even speak them. And so I've accomplished a lot with him as well. So,
well, let's talk about those revenue streams. In your business model, where would you say your buckets are for revenue?
At this point in time today, I've had conversations with my coaches, because I was in Phoenix last week, and that's where my speaking coach is. Met with my financial advisor yesterday, meeting with my accountant on Friday. And so we're getting everything lined up for the next year for sure, but also the vision of 5 years. That's where I'm aiming. And so right now, the way it sits is that my coaching I'm taking on a limited number of coaching clients because I want the high quality ones. I want to make the money there, working less, but helping them based on my experience and my achievements. So I would say the coaching right now around business is about 25% of my time. The speaking would be closer to 50% of my time. And I do that, the key word here is leverage. The coaching is one-on-one. And yes, I can make a difference, but I want to make a bigger difference faster. So that's where the professional speaking comes in. I want to leverage my time and my information. So that's 50% of the time. Then the other 25% right now, I'm building a third revenue stream. And this is something I say to all entrepreneurs right now. Every entrepreneur should have some residual income. They should have an additional stream of revenue that is residual income. So I am teaching professional women how to build an online business in the health and wellness industry to leverage and to create residual income and a legacy business.
I love that. I love that. And you're moving further and further into the whole health and fitness. You actually have a keynote.
I'm all in.
Yeah, well, your keynote is, I wrote this one down because I love it so much. You're killing your business because you're killing yourself. Yes. Okay. Talk to me about that.
That really, it's a direct link to the coaching world. And I know you can attest to this too, but I personally and professionally am sick and tired of entrepreneurs coming to me. Now, whether or not they have this default mindset we talked about, and or whether or not they're high achieving, these people are coming to me, and what I see before I even hear are women who are overwhelmed. Listen, it's hard work growing a business. They're overwhelmed, they're exhausted, they are stressed, they're overweight, and they're unhappy.
Right.
Either one, two, or all of the above.
Right.
And I cannot, nor do I choose to any longer, work with women who are in that state of any degree, any varying state of that. And so my commitment now in working with women entrepreneurs is, this is what I see, this is what I hear, this is what I feel. For you to work with me, your priority and your number one commitment needs to be on self-care and on your health. And if you're not prepared to do that, then I am not your coach. I
love that because, one of the things I noticed is if you say anything about somebody being overweight, people automatically go to body shaming. And it has nothing to do with body shaming. It's like, let's get real, let's get honest. We are killing ourselves as a society, whether it be from Canada, United States, or the influences the United States has had on other countries.
Absolutely.
And, our healthcare is out of control. Our diabetes numbers, our cancer, our heart disease, all of that. And, a lot of times people will point fingers at something outside of themselves instead of saying, okay, what's my role in this? And I speak from my own experience. A few years ago, my doctor was going to put me on medication for high blood pressure. She said, you're close to having a heart attack. You're going to have a stroke. I was about 60 pounds heavier than I am right now. And a lot of that was comfort eating. It was emotional eating, whatever the excuse was. And I made a pretty big change in my life by choosing to eliminate all animal and dairy products. And it's really exciting because the more I learn about it, the more I want to, it's like I can't get enough. So much, in fact, I'm getting certified as a plant-based nutritionist. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with that other than the fact I want to be able to work with my clients on a more holistic approach, because to live in silos of our health is over here, our relationship is over there, our business is over here, it's all integrated. And I think the sooner people accept that, the sooner that they're going to have a healthier lifestyle overall. So where do you see what you're doing going as far as working with your clients, your speaking engagements, any books you're going to write? What's the whole vision that you have?
Well, my vision is to be a one-stop shop to a certain degree for the ideal client for me. And so where someone does come to me, and I have quite a few customers right now on the health and wellness side who are saying, yeah, I can't even get out of bed in the morning. And again, I say it takes a lot of energy to grow a business. So you want to jump out of bed. You want to have exciting projects such as your certification and the work I'm doing for professional development. And so I want to be the one-stop shop where professional women, do want to take charge of their financial freedom. So my mission is to help professional women relieve themselves of financial and physical pain. And so the financial side is with the coaching. I can help them grow their business. The physical pain, I have the ways, the means, the expertise. I have the research team and the support team of experts and products to help them on the physical side of it. So that aside, that is a one-stop shop right there, because dieting doesn't work. Right. I know that. Good grief. Lord knows I've been on every diet in the world. But I now fuel my body with solid, quality nutritional products that work. They've worked for me. And so I met with my financial advisor yesterday, just a bit of a rabbit trail here. He had all my documents, because I've just moved, right, across the country. So I have a new financial planner. And he's looking at the file, and he's looking at me, he's looking at the file, he's looking at me, and he says, "This says you're 68. Well, that can't be." Yeah, I am. And so I want that for my clients. I want women to come to me and know it's a safe place. There is no body shaming. And I've been overweight. I get it. But I also know being overweight, listen, I just came in on Sunday, 3 flights from the US to Canada. You cannot possibly make those connecting flights carrying 40, 50, 60 pounds of extra weight and eating junk food. You cannot do it. And why would you want to? I'm hustling through the airport, but I've got my good food with me. So the one-stop shop will be the coaching and the health and wellness. In addition, to support that, I do have the line of products that I access. I won't name them here, but people can contact me if they want to know. It's one of the top 5 companies in the world, so well established. Secondly, my next book coming out is Business Gets Better When You Get Better.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
My coach.
It's so true. Yeah.
My coach.
That's
Business
awesome.
gets better when you get better. When you are in a position of getting a good night's sleep, you're properly hydrated, your weight is at the optimum, you are feeling energized and fueled, you have a clear vision, both, clear eyes and clear vision, then your business will improve, your business will evolve, your business will succeed, you will succeed. Business gets better when you get better. So that's the book that will be coming out this year. I'm very excited about it. And the interesting part is, Kathleen, when I moved from here 13 years ago, when I walked out of my marriage and started all over, I wrote a book, Who Am I Now? And many women at that midlife point are asking themselves that question.
Right.
And it's interesting because now that I've moved back, and there are some people who read my newsletter who saw the information, I've moved back. The editor of that first book reached out to me. I'm having coffee with her tomorrow. And she said, we need to do part 2.
Wow.
Because people need to know your story now that 13 years later, almost 69 years of age, you're creating another stream of business, you're planning your 75th birthday, blah, blah, blah. People need to hear part 2 and know what's possible. So those are some of the resources when you look at the all-encompassing. And I may throw in a retreat or 2. I haven't figured that out yet. I want to go back to...
It's in your blood. It's in your blood. You cannot not.
I want to go to... I don't want to do events. I used to host 3-day events for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I'm done with that. I did 5 years. I'm done. The retreats, though, will be business and lifestyle. And I want to go back to Sedona, so I might create a retreat around that.
I love it. And I'm mapping that whole thing out, too, because as I go further into the whole
plant-based journey. Of course you are, because we're so in alignment.
Oh, my gosh. We've done the 3-day events. We've done quite well, multiple 6 figures from one event. And, but,
it's time to evolve.
And the interesting thing is that, both of us have done very well in our businesses. And, over the years, we've made millions of dollars. I mean, you add it all up. It better be, I've been in business 25 years. I better make a few million. Yeah. But the reality, it's like, okay, you can play with numbers. But the reality is that, you can look at all these different opportunities. And then once you arrive to a place where you really know who you are, you get to make better choices of really what's in your wheelhouse, what's your sweet spot, and how do you fully serve people. And the thing
monetize it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt because, as you know, Karen and I do a lot of animal rescue, and without the business to really support that passion and that calling, we couldn't do what we do. And so for a lot of people, they need to understand that if they're not feeling well, they cannot perform at their best. And this whole thing of, you have to be so exhausted by day's end. No, you can be tired in a really good way, but you don't have to be dog tired to where you just don't have the energy to get off the couch other than to go grab a beer or a glass of wine or whatever it may be. It's like, I don't want people to think I'm judging, but I am. I mean, I am judging the whole system that we've been led to believe is a normal way of life.
I agree. And, where was I? Oh, I was at the gym this morning, and there was 2 young girls who walked by. And when you're at a certain age, you want to dress alike and have the same hair, barrettes, and all of that. And they both had the same T-shirt on, and it said, "I crushed it." I'm so opposed to that right now because I am not in the I'm crushing it mindset or path to success anymore. I am about, and I know there's no balance in life. I get that because businesses have seasons, right?
Right.
They do. However, you're right. When you get to a certain age and stage and a sense of self, I know when, for example, I was at this conference last week. It was very intense. I had goals. I had a long day of travel. I take the first day back off. So yesterday was a day, it was for me. So that I can ground myself, I can work out, I can sleep in a bit, and then back to business today. So that was not me or us a few years ago.
Absolutely.
We weren't like that. We would arrive home, like both of us had long travel. We would get in at 1, 2, 3 in the morning
and be up
then,
at, working at 6 a.m. Well, that's like me. Now, every day I do some form of exercise. And this morning I was at the gym, had a great workout. I'm doing the intermittent fasting. And that's been an interesting process to add that. And what I love about health and fitness as it ties into all aspects of our life is that it comes in layers. It's like we get to find out what's really healthy and what's a fad. And I think that's where the distinction really resides with people being in their optimal health, is that you look at what's a long-term sustainable way of eating, hydrating, exercising, and it's so amazing because the older I get, the more energy I have. And what I love is when I go to the gym and I have these elderly gentlemen, and they're probably my age, but they're elderly. And they go, "My goodness, you're looking great today." And it's said with a lot of respect. It's nothing inappropriate. And that just makes me feel so great for people to recognize the effort that I'm putting into my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about having people like yourself on my show. I want to educate people. So let's address the whole issue of excuses and the go-to mindset that people have. What would be 3 things that you could recommend to somebody who says, okay, enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want to have a successful business, and I want to have the energy to not only run my business, but to enjoy my business. What are 3 things that they can do?
Well, I'll make it 4 because the 3 things I used to tell my clients.
See, you're a high achiever. I asked for 3, you give me 4. Okay.
Let me do part 1, part 2 for number 1.
Okay.
I used to say to the prospects or the people who came to me, you need 3 things to succeed. 1 is you need a coach. Every entrepreneur needs a coach. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. I mean, all the Olympians have coaches, the sports stars have coaches. Every entrepreneur needs a coach. You cannot do this alone. Get a coach, do your homework, do your research on that.
Bingo.
Yeah, and secondly, then you need a plan. You got to have a plan. You can't get up by gosh and by golly every day and figure out it's all going to come together, especially when you don't know what together means. So you've got to have a plan, then you've got to work the plan. It takes hard work. It takes hard work to grow a business. Now, what I've added to that, as I alluded to earlier, what I'm saying is first, you need to make the commitment to me and to yourself about self-care first. Because again, you cannot grow a business when you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, you're exhausted, you're dehydrated, you're overweight. You can't grow a business effectively that way. And who wants to work with you anyway when you're wandering around like that? I know people would rather work with you and I because energy breeds energy.
Right.
Happiness breeds happiness. Enthusiasm breeds enthusiasm, because you and I get our sleep, our hydration, our exercise, our nutrition. So those are my 4 things. Self-care first. And we define what self-care looks like. It's not going to the spa for a day. This is an ongoing daily commitment to self first. And then get the coach, get the plan, work the plan. And of course, there's a number 5, which is you've got to celebrate. Women are really bad for that.
Yeah.
You got to celebrate.
Absolutely. I'm already thinking about how I'm going to celebrate when I get my certification, because to me, that's a big deal. And it's so awesome. Deal. You know what I love about, the conversations we have, whether we're, recording it or whether we're having just a private conversation, is that we do celebrate each other's victories. Yeah. And what I love is that we have become the women that we used to look at and say, oh, how do they do it? And, here I'm going to be 66 pretty soon, and I'm going back to college. It's like, oh my gosh, who would have thought? And it's so exciting to me because age is not a barrier. And for me, that's what I want to prove to people, is like, if you keep using age as your restriction, that, that's a false excuse. It's like, if anything, with age, we have a wisdom and an insight that we didn't have when we were in our 20s, 30s, or 40s. So, So talk to me more about your when you do your speaking in your keynote, and the whole, you're killing your business because you're killing yourself. Let's talk about that.
What I love about that, and my speaking coach helped me put this together, what I love about it, and I've got a 2-parter to that now as well, because the one part is really speaking to business groups. And so I will talk to them. These are the basics, Kathleen. I'm not sharing anything that is reinvented or anything that is complicated, because I really believe in keeping it simple these days. Mm-hmm. People overcomplicate things. And people want simple. And so when I'm speaking to business audiences, which is what I'm doing next week in Toronto, I'm speaking to private club managers. So it's the hospitality industry, but private clubs who believe that the business, the club owns them, heart, body, mind, soul, blood, sweat, tears, because they allow that to happen. So what I am saying to them is, first of all, you need to establish for yourself what you want to look like and feel like this year, and what you want your business or your career to look like and feel like. And so I give them 5 simple steps on that. And the first part is, you got to figure out what it is you want.
Right.
What do you want? You got to invent your future, or somebody else will. So that's the first part of it. And from there, that's the hardest part I have found with most people. So when I'm doing my keynotes now, by the way, I will not sign a contract to do a 1-hour keynote without the commitment of a 1-hour Zoom follow-up.
Ooh, nice.
Because
who do you do the follow-up with? The people in the audience?
Yeah, the ones who are interested in the next step.
I love that.
I'll give them the what, like create the vision, blah, blah, blah. But in the Zoom follow-up, and I'll give them an action step that they need to commit to. And in the follow-up, so with this particular group, I'm speaking on Monday, which I think is February 3rd. And our follow-up is on March 1st. So they need a month to percolate, because as human beings, we go back to the human that we believe ourselves to be. So over a month, you're either going to take one thing and implement it because it's about progress, or you're not. In which case, the Zoom call might be the trigger to get you going again. So I will talk about create the vision, figure out what you want for your own life, for your family. What's the dream for your family? What's the dream for your career? And then I will talk about the fact you need to create a plan and follow through, and et cetera. So that's the business part. The other piece that Larry and I have put together is with this health and wellness stream. So now I'm speaking to professional women specifically, and I am speaking to groups of age 45 plus. And what we've incorporated into that keynote is around purpose in life. So when people say to me, and there were so many assumptions, Kathleen, that when I moved here, and I heard the rumors in the grapevine, oh, Pat's retiring. What? What Pat? Who Pat?
Yeah,
not
it's
this
like,
Pat.
What? It can't happen.
Yeah, not me. And so what we flushed out for this keynote is the fact that when you get the 45 to 50 age group, particularly women, that's when many of them become empty nesters. And so they're thinking, like, who needs me now? Who am I now? Or it's at an age where you're being outplaced, displaced, fired from corporate life. And who am I now? And what do I do with my skills and my abilities and so on? So it's around purpose. So age 45 plus, the content that I'm sharing is around the fact that you can repurpose your life. You have different purpose at different phases in your life. And I talked to them about when I was in my marriage of 22 years as the stepmother. I know now that my purpose was to bring that family together and help them understand that there is a way to live and love and have a great life after divorce. And that job is over. But because of the way I dealt with that purpose and just put out love, here now I am back with my stepchildren and my grandchildren, and that love is coming back 100-fold.
Nice.
So that purpose was well served. This purpose now, and so that is the content I am sharing, is that you may feel like you've come to a stage in life where your purpose is over. Not necessarily so. So I will draw from the business keynote and say, what is it you want now? We're living longer, God willing, and health willing.
Health willing, yes.
Yeah. So what is it you want now for your life? What have you dreamt of? Open the drawer and pull out your dreams. What do you believe the purpose to be? My purpose right now, and I share with them, is to become an inspiration for baby boomer women who feel like you got to go sit on the couch and just veg.
Right.
No, come cross country skiing with me. And the other part of my purpose, I have a 20-year-old granddaughter here who has been watching me like a hawk because her other grandmothers are retired. They really have no interest in life. In fact, one of them died in October. And so my granddaughter said to me, Granny Pat, she said, I've never cross country skied. Can I go with you? Yes.
Wow. Wow.
And Kathleen, I am subliminally wanting to draw her into this part of the business so that as a young woman, she can start to create residual income too.
Right.
She's a sports enthusiast. She loves to be outside. She loves to be active.
Perfect.
She eats healthy. So that's another purpose. So those are my two tracks right now for the speaking.
I love it. I love it. So what do you think is the number one misconception people have about turning their health around?
It's too late.
Okay.
It's too late.
Okay.
And I just had coffee with a gal who said to me, oh, you know, my genetics and blah, blah, or my spouse, my partner, or my kids. And I said, look, you owe it to your kids to show them the way.
Right.
So why do you bring crap into the house because your kids want it? Show them the way. But what I hear mostly is it's too late and it's genetics. What I learned at the science talks last week, the conference I was at, your genetics are probably play a major role up to about maybe age 20, 25. But beyond that, you have control.
Right.
Your environment, whether it's mental, and again, you said the people you hang around, right? Some people on your list need to go. They're not good for you.
Right.
So your environment plays a big role, both with the people and the place. I'll tell you, that's one reason I moved back here, was because I did not have the support environment there. I knew it was here. The environment itself, Alberta, while we had 45 degrees below zero last week, because it is winter in Alberta.
Oh.
But the sun shines. The sun shines, the snow is sparkling, the sun shines in. That's good for the soul.
Right.
Where I lived, it was around the lakes and everything. It was always gray and foggy and overcast. That was not good for my soul.
Right.
So your environment plays a big part. Education plays a big part. Inspiration. So be around inspiring people like you and I. And we get educated so we can pass that on. And then, oh, for God's sakes, read labels, people.
If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. I mean, really simple.
Well, and as Dr. Oz says, and I watch his shows every now and then, he said when you shop the outer perimeter, is that the proper term?
Yes.
In the grocery store, he said there's no labels on that food because it's real food.
It's real food. It's whole
real
food.
Don't go down the middle.
Yeah.
So there are absolutely some easy things that you can do to turn it around. Get educated. But first of all, decide what you want. Do you want to get off the couch or not? And if you do, then find the resources you need. That's
the big one. Do you want to get off the couch? Because, as you know, I've been sober for 36 years and this whole thing of changing the playmates. I remember early on how frightening it was, even though my life was just a mess. I mean, I was a blackout drinker. I, was more on the ground than I was standing up because I just couldn't stand up. And, I had a sponsor who said, you only have to change one thing. And it's like, what? She goes, everything. That's it. You just have to change that. And
Yeah.
and when you change the environment, the people, then you do start making those changes. But it was so frightening to me. And now I look back at where my life is 36 years later. It's night and day. None of those people are in my life anymore. Most of them are dead. And, because alcoholism is a cruel, ugly disease. And, yet it's about taking responsibility and it's also knowing what our limits are.
But there's the thing, and here's what I say to people, is that, all right, I'm going to share something with you that may take your breath away. And it is simply the fact that you are responsible for your health.
Right.
You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible for your finances. Now, that might feel burdensome, and it probably is to many, and yet there is a way.
Absolutely.
There is a way.
Absolutely.
You need to decide you want it. Secondly, how bad do you want it? And then thirdly, go find the resources, because we are out there.
Well, that's it. How bad do you want it? Because if you want what's out there more than what you have, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And again, I'm talking with my good buddy, Pat Mussieux. And I love that, because I always think, okay, I got to pronounce this right. And that's respect for another person. And, and really it's about respect for ourselves in the way that we live. It really is. Respect for ourselves, respect for the planet, respect for, in my case, the animals, because I choose not to consume them. And, again, I don't pass judgment on what people choose to do as long as they're aware of what they're doing.
Well, it's education again.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I ask my clients when they're feeling burdened again is I'll say to them, because see, it all comes down to self. And I'll say to them, how much fun are you to live with these days? Because when you are exhausted, when you are overweight, when you are overwhelmed, you bring that to your world. How much fun are you to live with?
Right.
And how much do you like yourself right now? So I've had women say to me, well, these are strange business coaching questions. And I said, perhaps they are. What's your answer? What's your answer? Because
and
that's,
your point is?
That's where it starts.
Absolutely.
That's where it starts. So it's never too late.
And how do people get in touch with you, Pat? What's the best web address?
HirePat.com.
HirePat.com. We'll put that below. We'll have a bunch of information in the show notes. And Pat, this has been delightful. I always love having conversations with you. In closing, what would be your closing thoughts for people that are watching and listening in?
Well, my daily mantra, if you will, is if it's to be, it's up to me. Now, I'm also a woman of faith. And so I say that with a Christian base here, of course, I know. And listen, I believe, and I've experienced in the last few months of the major life changes that I've made, there has been so much divine intervention. I just may do a book on that, because it's been so blatant and so fabulous. So I do believe in God, and I do pray, and I meditate and all of that. Bottom line is, there was a phrase that my mentor shared with me, and she said, God creates food for the birds, but he doesn't throw it in the nest. And so that's the way I approach my life. I have all the tools, all the resources, the people are out there, the books are out there. Lord knows these days it's all out there.
Absolutely.
But if it's to be, it's up to me.
I love that. Well, Pat, I love that. I love you.
I love you more.
I love the fact I love you more. I love you. And, this is so awesome. Thank you for sharing your insights, because the world needs your message without a doubt. And people need hope. And there is hope out there. And it all starts within. So thank you for sharing. This is Kathleen Gage with Power Up for Profits, and Pat Mussieux with HirePat.com. Have a great day.